Howdy, hey, hi, Spaceman Josh here, and today I wanted to talk about Pluto and why it's not a planet. So, Pluto was discovered on February 18th, 1930. Pluto was then sort of demoted as to a dwarf planet on August 24th, 2006. And so, in the 76 years between it was discovered and then demoted, Pluto had completed only a third of its orbit around the Sun. But why was it demoted, and why did it take so long to do so? And so the decision of what is and isn't a planet is made by the International Astronomical Union, or the IAU. Before August 24th, 2006, there was no definition for what a planet actually was. Pluto, when it was discovered, was just called a planet like everything else. Um, and so the reality of it is Pluto was never actually demoted, but it was just also never classified, just like the rest of our planets. So as differences were noticed between different solar system bodies like Earth, Mars, and Jupiter, and Pluto, there were various things that we noticed and differences between everything. There was pressure put on the IAU to have actually a set definition of what a planet actually was, and so they did. And there are three things that make a planet a planet. The first one is that the object must orbit a star, i.e., our sun in the case of Pluto, or any of our or Earth, Jupiter. It's anything that orbits a star. And the second one is the object needs to be massive enough to be in hydrostatic equilibrium. That's just basically a fancy way of saying the gravity makes it a sphere, or it makes it round. And then the third thing is that the object has cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. So essentially, the thing that makes Pluto not a planet is it's failed that criteria number 3. It doesn't clear the orbit path that it takes, and so as a result of that, it was classified as a dwarf planet once those criteria were set in place for the definition of what a planet was. And so dwarf planets are essentially solar system bodies that meet some of those requirements, but not all of them. And so the reason that this topic is still argued about today is because there actually are, there are very pieces of evidence that could suggest that, depending on what you consider clearing the neighborhood, depending on how you define that, other planets, even Earth, could technically be considered not meeting that. They could be considered not clearing the neighborhood around their orbit. And so it's one of the few reasons why it's actually still talked about. And so, that's all I really have. So what do you all think? Should Pluto be classified as a planet? And if you think so, you should put it in the comments below why. However, I do ask for reasonable arguments. Saying that Pluto is a planet simply because it was a planet and then demoted doesn't count, because, like we said, that's not true. It was never demoted, it was just never classified. That's all that we have today. Today is a pretty short vlog. Other than that, thank you for traveling with me today. Spaceman Josh, out.